for our children to be able to, to live in a world that is so abundant, that offers so much for every single one. Just thinking about the African continent alone, today, the policies for African continent is predatorial. Everyone wants to go to Africa to take and take and take and take and take. Nobody's caring so much about saying, let's use Africa and let's use other so-called developing countries and see how we can foster or how we can install different systems of governance, this different system of economy, so that our main goal is not for profit-based and growth and eternal growth models, but rather for resource management so that the needs of the people are met. And I think that there are many studies and many economists who are starting to question all the models that we have received, very archaic models that we have received of capitalism that are just there. I'm going to put communism in the same realm, because these models, when they were developed, one element was missing out of the equation, the element of the fact that our resources are limited, or they do need time to replenish. When they did all these economic models, they basically thought that we can just go in the earth and take as much as we want and just continue the growth and the growth and the growth. There is no such thing. Nature is our best teacher and teaches us that there is no such thing as something that keeps growing forever. So we may have to unplug ourselves, and maybe it might be the opportunity that COVID is giving us to give us the chance to start thinking and transitioning to different type of economy. And the only people who are really capable of doing that are people like you in India, are people like in Africa, are people who are now coming to the table with all the knowledge that we have amassed from our own cultures, but also with the experience we've had of observing the positive and the negative of the Western paradigm in every domain. So now I think it's the time more than ever that COVID is giving us the ability to note the inconsistencies of these models so that we can resort to making the necessary adjustment so that we can create a better future for our children. So yes, I'm a queen of rural people. And today I can tell you that in the Congo, my people are actually better off than the people living in the cities, because their needs are met. And because the economy, when we do an economy that's not only turned towards the outside and export and making sure that we get the gross national product to show that it's always, increasing and selling more and more in the foreign land, then we can, first of all, like the speaker before me said, we have to cater for local economy. When our communities are okay, first of all, when our families are okay, our communities can get better. And when our communities are better, yes, indeed, our nation can be better. And when our nations are okay, yes, indeed, our world is better. So we have to really look into what we have on the ground, proximity, the resources we have in proximity, and see how we can use these resources to ensure that the needs of our people are met. And then we can then expand and see how we can create magnificent collaborations with other people who have the needs for things that we have that they don't have, and do exchange. So I'm really a great advocate of asking our scientists, our brains, and our very eager mind to go out there and to question everything, and to be able to say, yes, this is how it's been working for now, but we can come up with better solution, and never to be afraid to question, and never to be afraid to seek better solution, and also to join forces with people that we would not usually think that can collaborate with us, because being with people who are different allows us to broaden our perspective on how to look at a problem and to find creative solutions. So this would be my contribution today. I thank you so much for having me on this panel, and I'm very honored to have to get to meet everybody here, and I hope to be there to continue this discussion and to put my weight into this process of restoring a system, but by never forgetting that everything can be reinvented. When something doesn't work, we cannot just patch it, put some bandage, modify it, and expect the next crisis to bring us even further down. COVID is a lesson, and we have to use this lesson so we can expand ourselves, so we can dream bigger, we can dream better, so we can have a better world for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and for giving the attention that I deserve on this panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Queen Diambi. Thank you so much. In spite of your change in schedules, and you made it, we welcome you and appreciate you sharing your insights about Africa, and in particular about Congo and your rural people. And Queen, live forever. And one more thing I would like to appreciate is you agree to come on to join with us, and we would welcome you to be onto the task force. We were creating the proceedings of this webinar that we will publish to everybody. So your contribution into the task force would be wonderful. I will set it up and I'll welcome you for that. Thank you so much, and be safe wherever you are, and God bless you. So our next speaker is going to be the inaugural keynote address by Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, and I would like to request Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNT University to introduce our inaugural keynote speaker.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Dr. Hari. Indeed, I'm very happy to introduce Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe. He's very busy. Though he is busy with MHRD, still with an interest to join the webinar, he has joined through WhatsApp. Heartfully thank Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman, All India Council for Technical Education. I am privileged to introduce him. Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe is the Chairman of All India Council for Technical Education. Sir, graduated from BBB College of Engineering and Technology.
I think you drop it out because it's already too late in the day. So let me speak.
It's only 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. Sir has brought many changes and reforms in the technical education in this country, and he is the one who has brought the online education, online evaluation, online examination, and he is proposing many reforms into the system. And heartfully we invite you, sir, to be with us. Present view of viewers.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Srinivas, Dr. Hari, Queen DMB, whom I was listening. Finally, I could join in after the meeting at MHRD. Congratulations for holding such a webinar. Very important topic that we are all faced with COVID-19 crisis, and how do we come out of this and what we need to do. I think I was very carefully listening to the Congo experiment. Actually, India is no different. Both India and Africa, as well as many Asian countries with long civilizational strengths, actually faced less difficulties during this COVID-19 crisis compared to the so-called developed countries. And that is where I think we have to step back and look at our old systems and how we can modify them to suit to the modern trends. It is not that we should go back in history and then follow the same things which have existed 10,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago, but the values which were created over thousands of years. I think there is a lot of strength in that, whether it is in terms of food, whether it is in terms of medicine. I think in the Indian context, I think we have an excellent medical philosophy, that is of Ayurveda, which has a very close-knit connection with the nature. All the plants, those species which are there, which are useful for any type of diseases and crisis, we have to go back and look at all those species of plants which are going to be useful to us. I think that is as far as the healthcare is concerned. As far as education is concerned, we used to have classes in the classroom, transform, and then move on to the online education. So we must use technology wherever it can be supplemented, wherever it can be used for going ahead. And therefore, whether it is online classes, whether it is the portal which is created called as Swayam, where we have more than 2,500 courses, whether it is teacher training program consisting of 8 modules, where faculty, when he enters into the system or she enters into the system, what all is required to empower a teacher, that is part of this. Then we have internships, which are very, very important, so that students know while they are graduating what is required to be done for the society and what is required by the industry. I think this connect between the student and the college with the society on one side and with the industry on the other side is very significant and important. Collaboration is going to be more and more significant. And today that collaboration is happening through the portals such as Zoom, whether it is portals such as Microsoft Team, whether it is WebEx platform, whether it is Google. I think all of them empower us. And how we connect with each other and continue to do research. And one of the fundamental things which we understand from education is meant for not only self, but it is also for your own family, your own society, your nation, and the world at large. And in a connected world, which we call as global village, the Indian philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that means the entire world is one family. We are all closely knit. And then the second important thing which our Sanskrit shlokas talk about is Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. That means let us make everyone happy. Let us keep everyone happy. I cannot be happy unless my entire society is happy. Otherwise, there will be turmoil in the society, whether it is rural area, whether it is cities. And therefore, when a pandemic occurred, there was a difficulty in transfer of goods from one place to the other place. Although we talk about some of the products like a Boeing, aircraft, which has contribution from several nations and it gets assembled in one place. But nevertheless, there are systems which were in existence in our own system and which take care of basic needs of the human being, whether it is starting from the fresh air, the pollution that has occurred today, how do we overcome that on one side? Because we all live on oxygen every second, every moment. And therefore, starting with the fresh air comes the water. There is a scarcity of water in many countries. How do we use modern technology in order to have different possible resources through which we can make water available to every citizen? And then comes the food. The agriculture about which Madam Queen talked about is the major contribution for not only GDP, but for survival. We require proper food. And therefore, how technology can again enable in right decisions in terms of the selection of right kind of product that is to be produced. We find many times in our country, in India also, that when the prices of sugar are very high, sugarcane is very productive in terms of getting more money. And for the profit, if the farmer starts producing only sugarcane, we will not have rice and wheat and dal. And therefore, I think these are very important things which our farmers also need to be taken care of. There are several fertilizers which come from chemical industry back to the nature and have the fertilizer in this, and therefore that agriculture sector, and then the education sector, health sector, transportation, we have IT and therefore communication setups, and you name it, and in every field, in some way or the other, some developments had happened in the basic science, and therefore in the new world, we have to collaborate with each other because the resources are scant. And unless developing countries and the developed countries, they come together. Some people have developed huge economies, but today, during such a pandemic, those economies are all in difficulties. And therefore, how developing countries also can contribute to the developed countries, and how developed countries can share their technologies for the aid and help of developing countries. I think this collaboration, understanding that we are one world, we are one family, and therefore we have to help each other is a very significant thing which is important. Now coming to the new areas which are emerging, whether it is artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning, deep learning, 3D printing, we have cyber security, cloud computing, quantum computing, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain. These are all going to create new jobs. And therefore, our education sector, through the training of faculty members in all of these areas, should be engaging continuously. But at the same time, other type of faculty development programs which AICTE has initiated, which is called the Student Induction Program and Universal Human Values. Human values are across the globe same, how we help each other and the planet. And United Nations of late has also recognized this, which we had in our cultures, and talked about today 17 Sustainable Development Goals. All of these Sustainable Development Goals, when we look into, you will have connect with the nature and environment on one side, connect with the society on the other side, and the principles and philosophies which are enunciated in the ancient cultures, all over the world. I'm not talking about only the Indian culture, but whether it is in Africa, whether it is in many other Asian countries, we had a rich and beautiful system which was in existence in terms of all of these facets which the modern world is facing today. So how we can keep the old and the new, modern and the ancient together is very, very significant. And I would like to quote a small example of Smart India Hackathons, which AICTE started 4 years ago, where both digital and hardware hackathons were held all these 4 years. And we found that students, whom at many times industry also and the society also keeps saying that they are not employable, their preparation is not good enough. I'm not saying that all of them 100% are good enough. We need to work further hard on them, but nevertheless, very same students, when they are in second and third year, when challenged with these problems which the countries of the world are facing, whether it is in water, whether it is in energy, whether it is in transport, whether it is in communication, healthcare, agriculture, education, I think our students have come out with out-of-the-box wonderful solutions which have been implemented by government departments and industries. I think we have to understand the young generation is a fast learner. But only what we need to emphasize to them is, with your experience, your nature of able to learn faster, please stabilize yourself and become a lifelong learner. Whatever you learn today is not good enough. We need to continuously go back to the basics, go to the drawing board, study from the library, from the internet, and then keep yourself upgraded. Thereby, you will always solve any problem that comes. In a country like our size, with 1.35 billion population, we may have a million problems. But with 1.3 billion population, especially the young generation, the youngest country in the world is India. And therefore, if we channelize their energies, the youth energy, in the right perspective, I think no problem is unsolvable. We will be able to solve all the problems that our country and the entire world is facing. With these few words, I once again congratulate Dr. Srinivas, JNTU, and Dr. Hari for engaging with the stakeholders. And I close here because I have not heard what all people had said. So I don't want to keep on repeating what many others would have said. But nevertheless, if the audience or the panelists have some focused questions, I would be loving to answer them as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Srinivas.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. It is an honor and privilege to have you here, and a lot of things that you shared, which are very dear to Dr. Kalam, and especially developing the rural economy and transforming youth into responsible citizens. And the induction program, especially you are introduced, that's an amazing program. And Lead India has a training program very close to what you do on the induction program. And also you mentioned about this new age technologies like AI, blockchain, genetic testing, 5G technology, augmented and virtual reality, cyber security, autonomous and electric vehicles, and especially the smart cities. If all these things can be incorporated into the learnings of the engineering students in India, I think they are the brains. And as Dr. Kalam said, by 2020, every 1 in 5 in the world will be of Indian working in the world. And average age of Indian working going to be 29 years. And he felt if we don't transform them into responsible citizens, it will be a disaster to India as well as to the rest of the world. I think you are the right person, and you're doing a lot of changes in the way we educate our engineers. And please continue to move them into the Industry 4.0 kind of technologies to transform them and skill them, reskill them, whatever is necessary, what the industry requirements are, rather than producing just the degrees, but produce the skilled people who can have employable skills. I think the induction program will definitely transform them into good leaders, and as well as your vision to bring the Industry 4.0 technologies will definitely make a difference. Professor Srinivas Kumar, just thank Sri Anilji.
Sir, Anil Sahasrabudhe sir, indeed we are very happy for your presence. As you are we would like to request you one point. Education should be at the doorsteps of the poor people. And what reforms the AICT is thinking in this direction?
I think a very pertinent question, especially when the lockdown started and colleges and universities were closed, and some of the institutions challenged and difficulties. Some of the student areas where access to itself was a question mark. I think they were handicapped, and therefore immediate need of the government, which already government is thinking of through what is known as BharatNet, is to reach out to her. In the 70 years of independence, we started talking about all the villages. This government has been able to reach every nook and corner of the country in terms of road and in terms of electricity. But the next vision should be, how do we take internet also to all the remote villages, thereby education, in any case, whenever they are there, what we call it as anytime learning, anywhere learning, on any device learning, from any best professor in the world learning. I think this is the order of the day, and we will certainly support to that. Secondly, I have been appealing, and I will again appeal because you gave me another opportunity. So we may, through the government, reach out to all the villages in terms of internet bandwidth and connectivity. But when it comes to capability of buying those devices on which they can really access this education, whether it is laptops or not mobile phones. This entire seminar I am addressing through a mobile phone, because I just rushed from the MHRD office to home, and there was no time to start the PC. So I came on board through a smartphone. So this education, examination, everything can go on either smartphone or a laptop or a PC or some smart device. And this is what only 25% of our Indian citizens are having or capable of buying. There are other 30-40% with great difficulty, they can also manage it. But the remaining last 30% is the one about whom we should be considerate. And my appeal is, all those middle class families in whose houses, at least I am sure 5 to 6 old mobile phones in working conditions are lying. If you throw them, they will become electronic waste and create environmental hazard. On the other hand, if they are working as it is, if they are not working, please get them fixed, repair by small money and donate it to the libraries, and poor students can be given access through this. NASSCOM, I requested, NASSCOM through their IT companies every year turns around more than 500,000 computers, and they buy new ones. The old ones are not too old. They are about 4 or 5 years old, and they are absolutely in functional condition. If they also donate, in every village we can have a center, a common place, common center where a computer, a TV set and an antenna is placed. Either Swayam or Swayam Prabha or any of these channels can be reaching to the nooks and corners, and we can take care of not having digital divide. We can win over that, and we can make really education available, accessible to every citizen who wishes to have it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence as well as for your valuable advices. We'll be in touch to develop the nation in terms of the education. in particular in the rural sector. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
thank-
Live India will join hands with you, and we met the previous HRD minister to offer our services as well to enable people to learn through online. And also we introduced that induction program, which we wanted to partner with as well. We met a few of the people in Delhi, and we'll continue to do that. And especially in the rural area, we have the bandwidth issue. The electronic connectivity is the key. So once it is there, I think we can push other things to provide the online education as much as possible, sir. Thank you very much again. So MCs, please go with the next speaker, please.
1 minute.
His Highness.
Yeah, go ahead.
His Highness Jagadish Dhaneti is a royal prince of the Kalinga Empire of India. Jagadish Dhaneti is a Hollywood director, actor, screenwriter, and founder of Pink Jaguars Entertainment in Los Angeles. He is among the most celebrated filmmakers of Indian cinema and has worked with the biggest stars of the Indian film industry during his formative years, making him the most sought-after Indian director in the Indian silver screen. His professional journey from a writer to director shows his mastery of the 24 crafts of film, and his love for films and music is evident in all of his writer and directorial adventures. He is the writer and director of the biopic of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam that is set to be released in 2021. The announcement for the film was made on February 9, 2020 in New Delhi by Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who is the Honorable Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting of India, in presence of stalwarts from Hollywood and Indian cinema. He will be holding the megaphone for Kalinga War, Emperor Asoka's Last Battle, which is an ace film venture that was announced and set to be released in 2022. He recently announced Mission Kalam, an online tribute to Dr. Kalam from July 25th, 2020, which is the presidential swear-in date of Dr. Kalam in 2002, to October 15, 2020, which is Dr. Kalam's birthday, which is a convention for 11 weekends celebrating his life and the movie. In addition, he has announced phenomenal films that are cross-collaborative subjects, driven by the concept of world cinema. He aims at making magic on the screen through the best film techniques from across the globe and creates masterpiece movies for generations to come. He is a sensation in world cinema through spectacular scripts that appeal to international audiences. I now welcome His Highness Jagadish Dhaneti to play his tribute to His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Hello, good morning and good evening to all of you. First of all, I want to say a big thanks to Dr. Hari Appanapalli. Today, Dr. Kalam's death anniversary. We have to talk it as a physical death, but Dr. Kalam is with us, in us, around us. I met Dr. Kalam's journey. The first person I met is Dr. Hari Appanapalli in USA, because I went all the way and I visited him, because he is one among the few genuine people who have been very dedicatedly taking up the ideologies of Dr. Kalam and moving the things in a very, very positive way. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, this is the title for the upcoming Indian film, and The Immortal President, that is the Hollywood version of the same film. And I have no words for the great support by some great people who traveled with Dr. Kalam, being the resource persons, and as a total journey and as a total thread of this film, I should be indebted for the support given by Dr. Hari Appanapalli, and I'm very, very thankful for him for giving this opportunity. And Corona, COVID-19. Many people are talking and maybe negative or something, but I consider this in a very, very positive way. As all of the distinguished panelists are very well aware, the COVID-19 crisis has had a huge impact on every human being living on this planet. At the same time, it has also brought about a few positive effects, if I can use the word, in several industries, business all over the world. If I have to take example of my own industry, film line, COVID-19 has redefined the way we produce and consume basic environment service like a cinema. While we all are hopeful that people will start going to the cinema theaters and multiplexes sometime soon, we are making efforts to bring the entertainment services to everyone's home. I'm sure there will be a long-term positive impact from this change as we can now produce and share content with every person in the country, whether you are in Mumbai or in a remote village that has basic access to satellite and an internet network. If we have to talk specifically about the rural economy, I would like to say that I am more optimistic about the long-term positive impact that the current crisis brings for the rural economy. In the short term, I know that there are a lot of concerns and challenges like providing basic healthcare facilities in rural areas. I'm sure a lot of you are more qualified to speak about these challenges than me because I'm just a filmmaker. I know just cinema. So let me attempt to share some of my personal observations about the long-term positive effects and opportunities for the rural economy in general. One of the things that the COVID has taught everybody beyond washing utensils and cleaning homes is to respect the most basic things in life. I'm sure every one of us were worried and taking stock of our groceries, vegetables at our home during the peak lockdown period in April and May of this year. Every one of us, including the government, were talking of ensuring sufficient supply of food grains to all homes in the country. This required us to ensure that sufficient food was being produced, stored, and transported smoothly at all times. The government came out with several good reforms for agriculture sector in the last few months. I'm sure most of you have followed the reforms the government has announced recently in the areas of marketing of agricultural products. Going forward, the farmers and traders can sell and purchase their agricultural products across the country without any restrictions. I think this is a very significant reform which will help the farmers to sell their products to anybody or any place without depending on the local middleman or marketing bodies. If this reform alone is implemented in right spirit, I think we might have a scenario where a person sitting in Delhi can buy a fresh stock of Alfonso mangoes directly from a farmer in Ratnagiri. I'm sure none of us is going to mind spending a few rupees more to get fresh products directly from the farmers. We might also see some enthusiastic farmers becoming small businessmen by getting into other allied businesses like transportation and storage services to help their farming community to sell their products to customers who will pay a good price. I'm sure if we invest and further improve our transport and storage infrastructure, these reforms can help farmers realize great prices of their product. I think that in the next couple of years, we have a good chance of seeing good growth in farmers' income, which will have a direct impact on the rural economy. A healthy agriculture and rural economy can have a lasting impact on our country as a whole. We all know that agriculture is the largest source of livelihood for most part of the population in India. If this sector starts growing steadily, we will start seeing huge ripple effect across multiple industries in India. Our rural brothers and sisters will start consuming more rapidly, which will have a direct impact on industries like consumer products, agricultural equipment, two-wheelers, cars, and many other products. As the share of the rural economy grows, it's important in India's GDP. We will start seeing both private companies and governments take further steps to improve sectors like roads, irrigation, housing, and other rural infrastructure projects in the long run. This will have further cascading impact on several more industries. What can I say? Cement, infrastructure, automobiles, steel, power, banking, whatnot, many more. So, to conclude, I would like to say that the present COVID crisis has provided an opportunity to rural economy to spreadsheet the growth of India's GDP in the medium to long term. I think that this is very, very significant at these times when cities and urban centers have taken a backseat in driving the consumption and growth story of India. So, I love Corona because it taught us life. Previously, the people almost reached to a level where it is simply mechanical, but now the people started realizing what is life. It taught life, and so even when we connect this to Dr. Kalam's ideology, he never thought anything as negative. They always thought everything in a very positive way, dreaming positive, everything positive, dreaming positive. So Corona is again positive, because once we consider, there is no point when we consider Corona, COVID in a negative way, only negative, we can see only negativity. So everything is positive, and we are expecting a good, great thing. And I'm very, very happy to talk like this to you, because in the journey of Dr. Kalam, and it's a great opportunity for me to be connected to you through Dr. Hari Appanapalli, for whom I'm ever thankful. And thank you, every great personalities whom I met here. Thank you very, very much.
His Highness Jagadish Daneti for in a short notice joining us, and you did a lot of research on Dr. Kalam, and you're building a very world-renowned movie equivalent similar to Gandhi's movie. So I would like to wish you all the best, and thank you for sharing and paying tributes to Dr. Kalam on this occasion. So now we'd like to have the next speaker, Professor KSMS Raghav, and he will be introduced by Dr. V.B. Chitra. Please continue. Thank you very much. Dr. Chitraji, please unmute.
Yes. Sorry for the interruption. I will save time for the next speaker by introducing myself. So I'm Dr. Raghav Rao, basically a chemical engineer.
Excuse me, sir, just a minute. I just introduce you and then you can proceed.
No, that's what I'm saying. 10 seconds I can introduce myself. That saves time.
Sir, that's okay, sir. Just okay. Let her introduce her. She prepared.
9 o'clock. I don't know how many speakers more are there.
Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am. Introduce him, please.
Good evening, all of you. So I'm basically a chemical engineer working in the Central Food Technology Research Institute for the past 30 years. Currently, I'm the director of this institute. So I'm very grateful for the organizers, especially Dr. Srinivas Rao, Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Hari Garu, Chair, Lead India Limited, for giving me this opportunity. It was a great privilege and honor to participate the tribute in Dr. Kalam. He's a great scientist and leader and visionary of this country. So I have not read the latest book that Swamiji was showing this transcendence, but I have read The Wings of Fire. So it was very inspiring, and he's a model. He's always led by example. Today we will be talking on. Our topic is impact of COVID on development of rural economy, challenges and opportunities. So yes, COVID is a big accident. As the previous speaker was telling, he loved it, but yes, it has a positive side of it. It is a accident in the history of time that has shaken both developed and developing nations. Neither poor nor rich is spared. All sectors of industry have been faced with the brunt of it. So I will be looking at only at the food processing sector. Rural MSME sector is one of the options for the revival of this economy. That's what I believe in, because it contributes significantly to the employment of the country. 51% of all the MSMEs are in the rural area. So already it is in the rural. And days are gone that wedding is at equals. Now MOUs are being written with giants, with startups. For example, Siemens has recently written MOU with a startup company from Stanford University. That is the new order that is happening. Another beauty of MSME is, unlike a giant, it is not totally in the service sector. It is in the 1/3 in the manufacturing, 1/3 in the trade, and 1/3 in the services. So it is well balanced. It has a very good advantages having here, because it offers huge amount of employment, and 90% of the thing is coming from a micro industries, which are very much suitable for rural economy. But there are certain constraints and concerns for MSME also, because lack of availability of trained manpower and affordable and sustainable technology is the problem. Food processing sector and MSME definitely has an option, because food processing is the one thing can start at very, very small micro level, also go for a multinational. And it contributes 30% of the India's exports. So, especially during COVID, situation has changed because the supply chain management got affected both with respect to raw materials as well as the finished goods. Because of this, it has to be more for the local production, local consumption. So, food industry has to gear up to this challenge. Food processing, another advantage is it can provide the highly skilled jobs that are required, and it can generate 30% of the employment. So at CFTRI, we are implemented this by an experiment. We are leading by example, because being the largest institute in food processing technology under one roof, we have started an incubation center here, and within no time, the technologies developed have been transferred to 4,500 MSMEs all over the country. The institute offers MSc Food Technology and ISMC courses, so it gives us human resource very much. Not only that, several of the skill development programs we are conducting for medium and small scale people. Recently, we have written an MOU with the Skill Council of India, so all these short-term courses are given along with the Skill Council of India. By being all these small startups at the CFTRA campus, the advantage for them is we are giving all the mentoring, all the equipment that is required, all the pilot plans that are required by them. Everything is being provided at CFTRA. So encouraged by this, new initiatives also we have started. Center for Excellence for Millets, because that is the some of the speaker was telling processed foods are not good for health. So it is partly true and partly not true. So millets is one of the area which is health foods and functional foods are being developed. So we are starting an incubation center for that. And the rice processing world over, there is no training center. So that also we are starting. The best part is entire 30 crores project is being funded by Buller and Epic companies. This is the total biggest venture of a private industry at CFTRI, which is giving a shining example for human resource fund for rural development. Now the issue is saving the lives and the livelihood. Because if you revive the rural economy, there is a danger of COVID spreading. So we have to strike a balance. So out of the four engines of economy, economic growth, consumption, investment, exports are totally lacking. Only thing that is happening is government expenditure, because they are pumping in money to boost the economy. But how long it will work? So before that slowdown of consumption is taking place, private investment has to pitch in. And totally we have to reimagine what is the private investment. No more the old concepts or old style of functioning will not work. So out of the box solutions are required. There is a consumption slowdown. So even before the whole COVID has hit, there is a recession. But the only thing is, it has worsened the situation because of the COVID. There are job losses, salary cuts, these are happening. That is true. But economy is also like a human body. One way of giving is giving steroids, which gives a spot of energy for the body, or give a long-term or medium-term treatment so that you revive gradually. So we cannot say this because we need a quick solution. Much might be said on both sides. So we should have a balance of these two things. Then rural and urban balance is also required, because the scale up is the problem. Many of the migrant workers, they have come back to the village areas. So that's why there is an issue in the urban area for the industry to run. So why they moved to urban areas? Because they thought they'll get a livelihood, even though there are poor conditions. Now he has come back because there also is a situation. So now we have to see whether we can provide better conditions for them to stay back in the rural, so that he can participate in these MSMEs of rural country, so that he can make his life much more better. So for this purpose, India can be a back office and also a front office for the industry campaign, especially in this rural sector. So we have to increase our manufacturing abilities, as Dr. Reddy, Secretary DRDO, he was mentioning how our production abilities have significantly has increased. See, what we have only few thousands of protective gears before, now we are able to produce lakhs of them. So overnight we gave to the new situation, but at the same time, we have to use these things for developing the rural entrepreneurship. That's what CFTR again experimented on this. For example, preparation of ozone into sanitizers, because everywhere the spreading of hypo oil water is giving irritation for people. So it was thought that ozone can be the much better with the gas-based sterilization is achieved. So similarly, food processing also, we have given all the technologies as we put on the website as a free technologies for the people to take it, so that rural population is benefited by taking this food processing technology and implement it. And MSME has given huge funds and huge clusters they formed with the government support, and both center and state government are giving these funds that are very effectively utilized to boost the rural economy in the food processing sector. Especially all the schemes there, they will work only provided some stakeholders like technical universities, academicians, and research institutes have to pitch in. All the success of this government stimulus hinges on quick and efficient dispersal of the credit. May not be really happen because banks also would like to play very play safe. So that's why we can convince easily. Food processing is one of the things which is a safe bet. They can invest and safely contribute. Rush for the growth in the nature could be frontline casualty, because economy, all this nature or environment will be a casualty, because the moment industry progresses, environment will get affected. So rural being a small scale industry, at the same time we can protect the environment also. That is the advantage of being in a small scale at the rural level. So if I'm allowed to borrow our former DG's words, I'm dangerously optimistic that economy is very potentialistic to regain and rebounce back like a phoenix from the ashes. So once again, I thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Srinivas Rao for giving me this opportunity. I think I stuck to my time, so I'll just 9 minutes actually. I will overshoot by 30 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We'll have Dr. Chitra to convey the vote of thanks since she could not introduce you. Dr. Chitra, please come. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Wonderful message.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, madam. My intention was just only to save the time, nothing else.
But now she will have the turn to complete. Thank you.
Yeah, very good evening to one and all. So I'm very happy to propose vote of thanks to Professor KSMS Raghav Rao. Sir, your speech is very ignited and very insightful. So we have learned a lot so from food processing from you. Thank you very much so for conveying your message so on this occasion. Thanks once again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Chitra. Thank you, Professor Raghav Garu. Appreciate you joining us. I'm sorry we kept you waiting. There was some rescheduling needed because of various other changes. Thank you so much, sir. So MCs, please introduce the next speakers.
Our next speaker, Ms. Manoranjana Gupta, is an accomplished Indian journalist turned entrepreneur and is now an advocacy professional. Ms. Gupta has spent the last few years equipping large corporations with strategies to engage with the government and other key opinion leaders by ethically influencing areas of policy advocacy, regulatory landscape, stakeholder mapping, and engagement. With her understanding of a consultative yet complex regulatory landscape, she has handled issues ranging from those related to market access, FDI, and the environment, to the implementation of centrally sponsored schemes. She has applied her advocacy skills to sectors such as healthcare, pharmaceuticals, oils and gas, information technology, mining, infrastructure, energy, railways, aviation, science and innovation, and e-commerce. Currently, Ms. Gupta is a senior advisor and consultant to Vedanta, one of the largest mining corporations of India. She advises them on public policy and government advocacy while leading the team for the mining industry in negotiations with the government on how to further liberalize the sector. She has been instrumental in drafting the new sectoral policy, which is to be released shortly. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Ms. Manoranjana Gupta to deliver her keynote address on developing the rural economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Please
you,
go ahead.
Hari Epnapalli, for the opportunity to speak at this prestigious forum. My greetings to all those who participated in the discussion today and those who are viewing this discussion on social media and other platforms. Today, the globe is talking about the impact of COVID-19, but mostly from a national perspective or from an urban-centric perspective. I would like to thank Lead India Foundation for asking each one of us to deliberate on various aspects of how the pandemic has impacted the rural economies. Before I begin, I would like to pay my humble tributes to one of the greatest human beings I've personally known, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Sahab. I had the honor to interview him in a 1.5 hour long session in 2006 during one of his visits to the northeast of India. Why I narrate this today is because we are discussing remote areas, we're discussing small economies, we're discussing rural areas. This was in the state of Mizoram. He was president of India then. It was very interesting that when I met him for a dinner at the Raj Bhavan, I expressed to him and I said that the people of Northeast India feel alienated from mainstream India. He said, of course I know, and I've always been trying to bring myself closer to this unique and beautiful region. He said I should suggest to him on what more he can possibly do. In just a very plain conversation, I said, His Excellency, why don't you address the people of Northeast India exclusively in a nice and long interview and just talk about them and not about the rest of the country. Give them a vision, inspire them. And he agreed. I was really jumping with joy. But the next day, the protocol division of the President of India called me and said, since independence, no President of India has ever given a live interview to a private channel. And he's a sitting president in office. It cannot be done. I was really disappointed. I conveyed my disappointment to President Kalam through one of the officers. And to my surprise, I received a call from him. And he asked me to come and meet him the next morning. When I went to meet him, he smiled and said, go ahead and prepare, and I shall go live on your channel to address the people of Northeast India. We did a freewheeling, candid interview for 1.5 hours. And he was the most amazing man and personality I had ever met. In my 25 years of media and journalism, I never met anybody as brilliant and as caring as him. A man with a vision for everything and everyone. In narrating this story about the Northeast, I wanted to also highlight his immense love and passion for the backward, rural and remote areas of the country. When he was penning his book, Turning Point, he called me after, I think after 1.5 years and said, Manoranjana, you're a part of my book. And he asked me for a transcript of the interview that I had done with him. And to my utter surprise, I found 12 whole pages in the book about my interview and about me. I'm so glad that Dr. Hari, you have created this foundation, Lead India, in which the guiding vision is that of a great man, a man as great as President Kalam. Now on the subject of how the pandemic has impacted our rural economies. Today, the world has acknowledged that despite India being a country of 1.35 billion people, it has managed to keep the figure of cases per million at a very low of approximately 830 only. At the same time, it has succeeded in ensuring a very low mortality rate of 2.3%, which is amongst the lowest in the world. However, despite the comparatively better picture on this front, India got massive negative global publicity for the reverse migration of labor class during the nationwide lockdowns that took place. There is no doubt that the reverse labor migration that took place shall have both short-term as well as long-term effects on the rural economy of India. However, I think the government has taken very prompt action and has announced economic packages with a mix of long-term as well as short-term measures such as cash incentives, wage subsidies to provide relief to the migrant laborers as well as to the marginal farmers. The first visible impact of COVID-19 in the rural sector has been on the agriculture supply chains. Transportation industry has been badly hit, demand has seen a major slump, and this has caused a sizable revenue loss to farmers, and they are being forced to sell their crop at a cheaper price, settle for a lower profit, which is really sad. The second impact of COVID-19 is the delay in sowing and harvesting of crops. Even the e-commerce brands in agriculture have been impacted as the transportation of these products is stopped and there is no inventory. The third impact of COVID-19 is the expected job cuts in the agriculture sector. And the fourth big impact is the complete shutdown of exports. Currently, all the ports are locked and huge inventory is piled up with traders, farmers, and everybody. The fifth impact is on the MSME and the SME. Post-lockdown, their businesses are lying shut down and they're facing a revenue hit. They were forced to sack their employees for a variety of reasons, including financial unviability. The sixth impact is the prediction of a weak consumption trend, even post-COVID. Even when things return to normal, the primary focus of people would be to secure jobs and get their businesses going. During such times, both families and businesses will be keeping a stringent check on their spending patterns. This trend is also likely to be an impediment to the expansion plans of the global and national brands. So it's really impossible to even put a ballpark figure to the kind of financial hit that the rural areas have taken due to COVID. So what's the way forward? Now, these are really testing times and governments are working to their full capacity in fighting the pandemic. And health is the focus area. But it's extremely important for the governments to give equal priority to rural development post-COVID, as this is the only way that economies will kind of jump back. Government has announced in India a massive relief package for the farmers and has also announced cash subsidies under the existing schemes. What is really good is PM Modi has announced these measures under Atmanirbhar Bharat, which promote domestic industry, and a lot of them are small rural-based industries. I visited Tripura. In fact, I just came back today. It's a small state that touches the borders with Bangladesh. Under the Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme, they are promoting bamboo and rubber in a very big way. In Tripura, where the economy is already very small, it's a completely agrarian rural economy. Jobs were really hit, farm economy was really hit. There was complete unemployment and situation was really bad. People lost their jobs. Now under Atmanirbhar Bharat, what the Prime Minister has done is, he's talking about bamboo and rubber, which is what the previous speaker was talking about. How do we bring in food processing? How do we bring in food? How do we bring in the farm economies? And how do we kind of, skill more people, skill more youth and change the face of the villages to come? Yesterday, the Prime Minister in his address also spoke about creating smart villages. So far, we had been creating only smart cities. Therefore, in the current scenario, e-commerce players will play a very big game. And in fact, they could be the game changers. They have a targeted base of farmers that can be directly leveraged by the government, thereby reducing the time gap and increasing the effectiveness in reaching out to them. And finally, it's very important for the government to incentivize the medium and small enterprises and urge them to retain their employees to reduce job cuts. This is going to boost the consumption once we leave COVID-19 behind. Another important question is whether India is responding well to support rural communities and coping with the new challenge. And I would say yes, that the Indian government has responded very well to the challenges posed by the pandemic. Definitely, the pandemic has made sure that the health responses, the medical services, and the infrastructure improves manifold in the rural areas. The basic services in rural areas which never existed, the government is actually working to bring them around. The government is also supporting rural businesses through incentives. And most importantly, as many of the previous speakers have said, government is improving digital infrastructure and digital accessibility in rural areas. Now, the first two are short-term emergency responses, but supporting rural businesses and improving digital infrastructure and digital accessibility, these are measures that can actually transform rural economies and communities. That is why I said that there is a silver lining to the pandemic catastrophe. India is ensuring access to credit for farmers and providing new employment opportunities for tribal groups. The road ahead is definitely not easy, but I'm still an optimist and hopeful that India will be able to come out of this crisis. And the silver lining to the pandemic is that our rural areas will develop much faster than they would have done otherwise. There are drastic changes on the anvil. It's a whole new world and a whole new normal. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak at this prestigious forum. Thanks, Dr. Epnapalli.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Manoranjana. It's wonderful to see you. And in a short notice, you were able to manage to join us today. I know you had several meetings in the pipeline now. You needed to rush. And sorry, we kept you waiting. But the kind of roadmap you provided, the various things, especially to rejuvenate the rural economy, it's wonderful. And especially there are some organizations who are watching you today from the Northeast region. I invited them in particular to meet you. We will talk offline. They are interested in taking your ideas and creating a new way of dealing with agriculture. They're very advanced in already the organic farming, but they need to bring some technology into it, some kind of central government funding to make that happen. We'll set up some meetings with you for those people. And we have an innovator also on the speakers list today from Assam, actually. We'll introduce him as well. Thank you so much again. So MCs, please introduce our next speaker, Pramit, please.
Our next speaker, Mr. Pramit Makude, is a co-founder and director of the Indo-US Health Initiatives, the Boston Center of Excellence for Health and Human Development, as well as the E-Kisan Foundation. Mr. Makude is also the vice president of the International Regional Computer Society of India. His current focus is on large-scale e-education, e-healthcare, and smart healthy city projects. He was awarded at the NRI Gauda Mahotsav by the IT Minister of India and the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, and also received other philanthropic awards. Let's welcome Mr. Pramit Makude to deliver his keynote address on how to develop the rural economy.
Thanks, Dr. Hari. Thanks, Dr. Hari and the organizing team. Good morning to everyone in America. Good evening to my friends in India, and namaste to all of you. Our founding fathers have always envisioned Bharat as self-reliant nation through the development of self-reliant villages. Mahatma Gandhi ji initiated his model of Swaraj with self-reliant villages at its focal point. President Dr. Abdul Kalam designed a cluster village development system called Pura, providing urban amenities in rural areas. These clusters would be linked through 4 connectivity, namely physical, electronic, knowledge, and economic, to provide better income and quality of life to villagers. They all dreamed of transforming Bharat by transforming villages. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji said, "This pandemic has thrown at us new challenges and problems which we had never imagined. But it also taught us a very good lesson with a strong message. We have to be self-reliant and self-sufficient, that we should not look for solutions outside the country, at least for our vital needs. We can transform Bharat by providing comprehensive infrastructure, skill development, expanding digital applications, improving agriculture techniques, and globalizing India's healthcare practices, both modern and traditional." I'll share my views on making a self-reliant and self-sustaining Bharat with a few high-level points. First, we can build up our villages by providing better infrastructure. Like if we look at America, it's quite decentralized. There are many, many small towns with a population of 5,000 to 15,000. There you can find all the basic necessities and infrastructure like good hospital, schools, roads, reliable electricity, clean water, internet, and cell phone service, along with police and fire station, providing security and maintaining order. As a result, people don't mind living in small towns and yet stay connected to large cities. We need to build a similar infrastructure for our village and panchayats, that is a group of 4 to 5 villages, through the Wheels framework. Wheels framework is water for all, health ecosystem for all, energy for all, education for all, land and housing for all. And once you have all this place in panchayats, then we can build excellent skill development and employment generation opportunities. We have tried this framework in Karnataka and seen very encouraging results. Second, skill development and employment opportunities should focus on Atmanirbhar Bharat, making Bharat self-reliant. We have to be vocal for local products, but we need to go beyond this. Be vocal about local and make it global. We can develop skills for building quality products and start selling these products globally. Now, globally doesn't mean that we always need to build Rolls-Royce or Mercedes or BMW. We need to have products which are affordable, good quality, and can be made accessible to both the developed and the developing countries around the world. The Wheels framework enables the ecosystem and acts as a catalyst for employment generation and skills development. It's essential for building relevant manufacturing skills which need to be implemented with 6D model. Now 6Ds are, we need to discover, dream, design, develop, deliver, and make it durable. We must discover the needs of the market. We need to dream along with the villagers, learn from the villagers, and bring back to them the best practices from around the world. We can develop specific durable products catered to the global marketplace which solve real problems and needs. Using the Wheels framework and 6D model, we can create thousands of smart villages by building healthcare, education, agriculture, and financial ecosystem. These model villages can then be replicated all over the country and cover 250,000 panchayats and around 650,000 villages. See, over the last 10 years, great progress has been made. Optical fiber network have reached all the panchayats and is now connected with the digital highways. There are 750 million users with smartphones and internet service across the country. Most of the villagers have bank accounts and have unique Aadhaar numbers. It is the best time to create new innovative production application with 3 S's, which that is scalable. The application should be deployed with speed and sustainable. Here, I would like to highlight 3 areas: e-healthcare, e-education, and e-agriculture. In the current context, having healthcare records linked to Aadhaar number has significant benefits in terms of tracking, tracing, and treatment. The telemedicine and teleconsultation for access to regular and specialist doctors and an integrated hospital information management system with artificial intelligence-based clinical decision support system is extremely important. We also need to have access to clean water and reduction in malnutrition, as that will help build the immunity of the nation. This will bring accessibility, availability, and improve the quality of healthcare in rural India. Rather, I would say we must build this model in villages and let the urban areas and cities replicate this model. A similar kind of model is being built at Panna in Madhya Pradesh by us. For the education sector, if each and every student could access a learning management system in local language, that would give the students the ability to attend classes in real time with teachers or learn through high quality learning material via audio or videos. Through this blended learning, focused skill development, and job-oriented programs, learning outcome will improve significantly. During the COVID crisis, as few of our previous speakers have highlighted, this system will provide our students the option to study anywhere, study anytime, with or without internet. Again, we are building these smart school models near Bhopal and also in West Africa. Similarly, on the agriculture side, we need to bring the global best practices in agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry to farmers through information technology. We must strive to digitize and computerize the primary agriculture cooperative societies. There are 65,000 plus packs all over India, and make sure that they have access to requisite funds along with the right level of financial literacy for farmers. These packs and farmer producer organizations will help them create new markets for their produce. The e-Kisan project in Karnataka has demonstrated that farmers can reduce their input cost, increase the yield per acre, and get better selling price. This helps in doubling the farmer's income. These kinds of models are useful for India as well as the entire developing world, and in certain cases, even for the developed world. India can and needs to play a leader's role when it comes to these applications and the models which are required in the 21st century and beyond. We can not only help Southeast Asia, but also Central Asia and most of the African countries with a population of over 1.2 billion people. This is literally and figuratively doing a world of good. Again, on the health front, I would say that Indian way of living, the culture of Bharat, has given the biggest gift of holistic health to the whole world in the form of yoga, Ayurveda, and naturopathy. We should be the pioneers in the integrative medicine sector, where modern and traditional medicine come together. As Swami Vivekananda ji has said, we must bring the best of both the worlds, the best of modern medicine in the Western world and the best of Indian traditional medicine from the Eastern world to bring health, wellness, and happiness to the whole world. Many of my friends who are renowned doctors at Harvard Medical School keep mentioning to me that more and more doctors are practicing naturopathy, yoga, and our traditional medicine practices. Let me provide you some stats. See, American economy is around 20 trillion US dollars. Out of that, $4 trillion is being spent on healthcare alone. Multiple studies have suggested that by bringing modern medicine and traditional medicine together, we can save this cost from 20% to 50%. Now, even if I, on a conservative estimate, if I consider 20% saving, that is around 800 billion US dollars. Now, out of that, if I consider 20% of business coming to the Indian traditional medicine and traditional ways of Indian healthcare system, that amounts to a whopping 160 billion US dollars per year. This kind of massive, enormous potential, the Indian traditional medicine, herbal medicine, yoga, and integrative medicine has, and that too in USA alone. Now imagine the potential when this integrative model becomes a norm for the whole world. The possibilities are truly limitless. Now to summarize, I would say to finance this ambitious re-engineering of our development model, Atmanirbhar village bonds could be issued to raise resources. We could invest in the Wheels framework and 6D model to better infrastructure, skill development and job opportunities, harness our digital power to become a leader in education, healthcare, finance, and agriculture for the developing world. We must educate, engage, and empower our farmers and villagers, who are the very backbone of our country. And in doing so, we'll be able to make the vision of our founding fathers a reality. We have always believed in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and we treat the whole world as one big family. With this vision, if we move forward, we can make our Bharat truly self-reliant, the global superpower it once was, by delivering to the world what we already know to be effective and life-changing in a modern yet soulfully Indian way. We can bring change, we can save lives, and we can make the world a better place. Thank you. Thanks to the team, and namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Pramit. A wonderful message and a lot of things to learn from you. And I would like to connect with some of the people who joined exclusively to listen to you after this event. There are different organizations from different parts of the country, Chhattisgarh, UP, and Odisha. People, they are waiting to hear you, and they heard you, and we will connect you offline after this. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. And you try to bring our rural and agriculture minister, but due to some other tragedy in their family, he was not able to make it. Only we will have an exclusive event with him when he recovers from his loss in the family. Thank you.
He has already been briefed about the Lead India Foundation and the movement, and is very appreciative. And once again, many thanks to you and the entire team for organizing such a wonderful webinar.
Thank you very much, Pramit. You are a very valuable member of the Lead India, and we'll work with you. Thank you so much. MCs, go with the next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Padma Shri Dr. Uddhav Bharali. He focuses on solving issues around the Lakshmipur district with agriculture and small-scale industries being his targets. His innovations are always helpful for helping differently skilled people. Facilitated by the National Innovation Foundation in India, Bharali was offered fiscal support under the Technopreneur Promotion Program scheme at the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, Government of India. Bharali started getting covered in Assamese press for his variety of machines, as well as the Discovery Channel and other global media. On July 5, 2012, Bharali was entered into an online voting competition for the NASA Exceptional Technology Achievement Medal. He is a recipient of the National Innovation Foundation's India's National Grassroots Innovation Award in 2009. He received the Srishti Samman in 2007 and received the Rashtriya Ekta Samman in 2013. He was a speaker at TEDx at ISM Dhanbad in 2014. And in 2019, the government of India conferred upon him with the Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award of the country. Let's welcome Padma Shri Dr. Uddhav Bharali to deliver his keynote address on rural agriculture economy.
Good evening. First, let me place my heartfelt regards to Dr. Hari, Dr. Srinivas, and the entire organizer team, and my heartfelt regards to the all esteemed speakers. So basically, I'm an innovator. My profession is innovations. And now you see, because of everybody knows that because of this COVID situations, to establish the presence in the present situation for 90% of the populations has become a bigger challenge, the biggest challenge. Then now everything was stopped. Previously it was stopped, everything was stopped. Now it's getting momentum slowly with some new ideas. That means innovations. Innovation of idea or three-dimensional innovations, that's another thing. So I am from the three-dimensional innovations. So let me talk something about that only. So see, I'm with 159 innovations to back my career. Before COVID, my assignment number was 69. And after COVID, it has crossed to 110. So see, actually, it has created opportunity for me, but that's not a bad, good sign. Because of COVID, you know, there are some problems in entire area, in many areas, almost all the areas, starting from agriculture to the differently able sections. So because of that only, the assignment has suddenly it has grown up. Now we have to teach the student. Time has come that we have to teach the student about innovations. What is innovation? For whom you are innovating? How to innovate? How to take the innovation to the market? It's very important now. Now, see, for the student only I'm addressing now. I came to know that many of the students are attending this seminar. So, to innovate something, first you have to study the subject very thoroughly. Suppose today one very interesting assignment came to me. This is the entire Northeast Rice Trading Association came to me. They told me they are suffering from a severe problem for this COVID things, especially in the rural sector. Because of lockdown, they are not being able to sell their products, and they're, you know, for month-long time, it is in the go down. So rice quality has gone down. It has become damp, fungal attacks was there. To avoid that, they need a very low cost and affordable dryer. So that's a subject. Suppose I'm taking you that as a lesson. So for that, what I have to do, what I am doing today, I'm studying every details about the rice and the fungus. Then I'm going to crack the formula in next 8 hours. After that, I'm going to fabricate the first prototype. Then, after fabricating the first prototype, I shall let the end user to use that, because no innovation be termed as innovation until and unless it finds at least one end user. It's a must. So after that, after getting the essential feedbacks from the end user, I'm going to fabricate the main machines. Then if it has to go to the market, then I have to redesign it again. Because, you know, first thing, for commercial productions, one thing is must, that is manufacturing easiness. Second is transportation easiness. Third is end users economic standard, socio-economic standard. Fourth is after service. Fifth is get up, minimum get up should be there. So these are the things to be taken care of at the very beginning itself. So students should be taught about innovation in this way. What I feel, actually, it is my personal opinion only. So, and main thing, another important things I'm going to draw your kind attention. Here, some people, many of the differently able peoples, their relatives came to me. They told me that before COVID, we were having maids and, you know, hand-holding person. But after lockdown, we are not getting anyone to handle the differently able people. It has become very difficult for taking, taking them to the wheelchair, taking them to the bed, for toileting, cleaning, dressing, undressing, everywhere there is problem. It's not like USA or any other developed countries. Real India's scenario is very difficult, even for the, fit and fine people. You can imagine what is happening with the differently able people. In my personal cases, let me inform you, whatever I earn from my commercial innovation, I invest everything for designing device for the differently able people. That has been the reasons why people are approaching me. It's coming from all around the country. BBC, Discovery, History, all the channels has shown, made many documentary on me, and they have shown these things very extensively. How am I helping those people? So this is the area actually to be taken care of, and I think it's me now. I'm working alone in this area. Nobody is there. So what I want actually, the growing students should take some interest in this area. Let's help those people. We talk about the other difficulties. We talk about our economic difficulties, but at the same time, they are part of our populations. They are part. They are somebody. We have some responsibility for them, and I'm taking up their things. I'm very happy with them. I'm actually for them only. I have established one old age home also, and that's how I'm trying to serve those people. And other sectors, actually in agriculture sector, there is huge demand for many innovations. Post-harvesting, pre-harvesting systems, pocket fishery they requires now. Now, another very important things I have seen, very interesting thing I have seen, that actually many people has approached me for very low cost one-man show type technology. They want to do something, they do not have labor. Previously, laborers and skilled people were there, but they went to their respective state. Let me give you one small example. Batasa. Batasa means in temples we give some prasad type something, batasa. That is a sweet made up of sugar. Previously, that was a manual person. Now all the skilled labor has gone to their respective state. Now there's heavy problem. That's an assignment came from West Bengal recently. I was very excited to get that actually. That sector is to be mechanized now. Now they need a pocket fishery now. They need rice dryer. They need honey trapping machines. They need fish feed making machines everywhere. All now that the things has become like that. The community who are in business, they need their own technology. Some exclusive technology mainly designed for them only. Those are the customized technology that is in huge demand. And since I have become a professional innovator, this assignment used to come, and I am very lucky to have those assignments, because the money I earned through those things, those assignment, I used to invest everything in this philanthropic job. I have established one research and design center for designing device for the differently able people by name UKB Comfort already. And that's purely philanthropic. That's how we are working and trying to serve the people. It's not like that. Actually, I'm a small timer. I'm trying my level best. I'm from a very rural area. My district is still, it is zero industry district. Everywhere there is problem. I work for the common people only. Actually, I work for the underprivileged people. I work for those 30% Indians and 30% world population who are considered to be underprivileged. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My time is over. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Padma Shri Uddhav Bharali. I had a wonderful conversation with you yesterday. Thank you for staying late to talk to me. I'm very impressed with your humility and all the innovations you did. And they are useful to the really people on the field that are suffering during COVID, and appreciate your dedication and also taking care of the differently enabled people. So it's wonderful, sir, having you. We will talk more, and there's more of your kind of people we need to prepare. More entrepreneurs, more innovators need to be prepared under your guidance and leadership. sincerely appreciate you joining us and staying late with us.
Thank you.
MCs, go with the next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ravi Ayagari. He is a senior academician with a PhD in technology-enabled learning. He has over 3 decades of experience in the fields of distance education, electronic media, television and radio production, and information communication technology. He has received the gold medal for his innovations in distance learning from Indira Gandhi Open University and has traveled across the world to engage with various educational institutions. He has received training from BBC and FTTI. He served as the governing board and council member at the Consortium of Education Communication. He is now serving as a board member in JNTU Anantapur and has an advisory board member position in the Liberty Foundation. Let's welcome Dr. Ravi Ayagari to deliver his keynote address on the role of technology in developing the rural economy.
Greetings from Delhi. Honorable Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, Chairman DRDO, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe Garu, Chairman AICTE, respected Hari Garu, Founder Chairman Liberty Foundation, Professor Srinivas Kumar Garu, Vice Chancellor JNTU Anantapur. Sir, it is a great privilege for me to participate in this seminar, and my sincere thanks to Lead India and JNTU Anantapur for giving this opportunity. In this session, I will be sharing about ICT empowering and education and agriculture. Empower rural India during COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic is a major human disaster that affected more than 200 countries in 2020. And it has geo-paradise during the 20 and 21 financial year and adversely affecting their lifestyle, economy, importing business and basic assumptions of the common well-being which was taken for granted. Education remains the key to both economical and political development of any country. As told by Mahatma Gandhi, future of India lies in villages. As opened by William J. Clinton in New Economy, education, information, and motivation are everything. Education is the mirror of society and is the seed as well as a flower of the socio-economic development. It transforms human beings from ignorance to enlightenment. Education in India since the early days of independence is focused on improving the literacy rate in country. Even today, the government runs many programs to promote primary and higher education in India, particularly at rural areas. Now, during this pandemic, digital technology has been considered central to the reforms of education, has gained a unprecedented role and momentum. Social media platforms have role to boost an economy by creating entirely new universe. As a part of helping individuals, medium business plays a felicitation business and social media to the world. Presently, India is in a digital era, and during the pandemic, the use of mobile internet increased tremendously. Every citizen has access to connect each other through some device. Education institutions through NKN, National Knowledge Network, connected and have access to do collaborative learning and sharing of the knowledge. The role of ICT for storage, content creation, and dissemination is in full swing, which gives a lot of boost to young talent to learn and earn through online platforms. And also it is giving a scope to artificial engineering, intelligence, machine learning. Universities, education institutions adopting ICT right from the beginning of admission, assessment, and award the degrees to the students. Similarly, proactive measures are undertaken on the part of the government and civil society to safeguard rural population majorly farmers, students, and SME units. Government providing several e-learning platforms for students, farmers, SMEs amid COVID-19 outbreak. Several steps taken by state, union territories, governments are in a right direction in their implementation. The digital learning portal helps the students not only to get the access to study material, but also allow them to engage online classes and interact with the teachers like a physical classroom settings. There is a list of some excellent digital initiatives launched by Ministry of MHRD. During COVID-19, MHRD launched a Mano Darpan portal, provides a physical support and monitoring the mental health and well-being during COVID-19. And it is outbreak as part of a Atma Nirbhar Abhiyan of Government of India. Similarly, the primary of other portals like Shogun initiatives to facilitate both teachers and students with a platform where they can interact through digital medium for further reading and interacting. National Resource of Open Education Resource has developed, and it is an excellent initiative to take the e-books and to access to e-libraries and e-courses. And Diksha is one more important portal Ministry of HRD has launched as a national digital infrastructure for teachers from class 1 to 12th class for e-learning. Similarly, it started a virtual labs for students. Students will get a feel, real lab, all lab equipment, components, and lab behavior would be mimicked in the system. There are 32 television channels, dedicated channels, Gyan Darshan, Gyanvani, radio stations, around 252 community radio stations operating during this COVID-19, which are disseminating learning material right from the primary education to higher education, both in the national and regional languages. All India Council for Technical Education, AICT, is planning to bring a list of detailed channels that would focus on honing the entrepreneurial skills of the youth with the latest innovations. Similarly, monitoring and managing COVID-19 is in our country is quite complex, as it is a host more than 1.3 billion population. In addition to the huge population of livestock and pets, ISRO customized a geo portal and developed a Bhuvan COVID-19 at national level to track the pandemic and update common public on a current situation. Number of startup platforms are started. India's largest online entrepreneur platform allowed startups to network, access for free tools, resources, and participate with the government and non-government organizations. The use of information communication technology to support the transmission of localized information and services to work along with the farmers farming socially, economically, and environmentally. Suitable apps were developed through digital technology for digital agriculture. This also led to a rise in the development of the mobile apps, which are helping existing government schemes. Thus, the apps are helping to boost the overall business performance and reducing negative environment impact of the farmers. Now, with the click of a button, farmers can access to information reading, weather, dealer, market prices, plant protection, advisories, and storage capacities, and the availability of the transport. These are the few mobile apps making agriculture easy. To name a few: Kisan Suvidha, Digital Mandi, Smart Crop. Lastly, these are the initiatives fulfill Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam dreams, Aap Bado, Desh Ko Bado, by providing urban amenities to rural areas without any creed or caste divide. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi Garu. Wonderful message. A lot of research you did, and thank you so much for all the help you did in organizing this session and following with our esteemed speakers as well. We really appreciate it, and thank you for being part of the Liberty and Foundation. So it's wonderful. Now I would like to request Dr. Ram Maruri to introduce our next speaker. And let me say a couple of words before I say this. So we're getting a special person here who is working on the ground, mobilizing hundreds of thousands of volunteers, training them to treat for the COVID, to secure the youth as well as the secure their friends and family and the neighbors. Would like to hear from him for like 5 to 6 minutes how to save our people from the COVID. Ram Garu, please introduce him.
Yeah.
You are on mute, sir.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
His name is Srinivas Alluri. He is an IT architect by profession. Srinivas Alluri, he founded the IT company Sandhata Technologies with operations in UK and India. He maintains a simple lifestyle and dedicates his entire personal life towards making his mission, inspired by great personalities, including the likes of Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, among others. Srini founded Manavata in 1991 and is an international charity organization registered in UK, India, and USA, and is accorded a special consultative status by United Nations. Srini has created the Cycling for Humanity program, which aims to inspire people to support humanitarian causes and to lead a healthy, eco-friendly life. In 2011, Srini cycled from London to New Delhi, covering 11,350 kilometers. That same year, he led a 1,000-kilometer cycling event and a 100-day relay fast to promote the deaths of 22 children in Bihar, India, due to food poisoning from school meals, which resulted in a positive response from the government. Srini's passion continues unwavering and still runs Manavata for the benefit of all humanity. We welcome Srini.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you all. Can you hear me? So it's a great honor and opportunity for me to speak on this wonderful forum, and all the distinguished delegates and excellencies. I pay my respects. And before I start, I pay tribute my great inspiration and leader, Abdul Kalam ji. And thank you very much, Dr. Hari Garu, running this Lead India forum to make this happen. So it's a great opportunity, and to bring all the knowledgeable speakers I'm hearing for past few hours. It's really amazing. So with this last 50 years, we have seen a lot of changes, but COVID has changed a lot with us. And I pay respects to all great honorary speakers on this forum, including Dr. Srinivas Garu, JNTU Anantapur, and other dignitaries on the forum. Today, the messages we have got dignitaries from the bottom of their experience, and I want to share from the current situation from the grassroots. I've been working on the grassroots level and Andhra Pradesh from the COVID pandemic by providing holistic healthcare system in a special way, in a voluntary approach as a service with a wonderful doctors. It's an integrated approach. We're using all the oil treatments. So past 4 months, we have dealt with almost 4,000 plus cases. In this, we have learned a lot, and I see a lot of gap in this. Now it is the next step I personally felt it is very important to educate the rural India and also to protect them through right actions. So one important aspect we are doing immunity kits preparation within our campus. This campus I'm staying, which is created as a Manavata University in 60 acres campus. This is a university for humanistically hub with a humanity, nothing from outside, self-sustainability. And we have 450 different varieties of medicinal plants and different varieties of food plants, fruit plants, etc. So we have created all this biodiversity here within 5 years of this project. I want to replicate this. When I just cycled from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, I've seen 90% of the youth is wasting their time, and 60 to 70% of our lands are completely becoming drought. No trees, no greenery. So our immediate priority, as Abdul Kalamji says, we must bring our youth into the action. And that's why we started an initiative called Youth Task Force. So the Youth Task Force, the Lead India has taken the initiative. I really appreciate the initiative to bring the volunteers from the different parts of India and bringing them, giving them training. It's a great idea we discussed first 1 week time. So, but that is the great idea by Dr. Harigaru, and bringing this kind of a training to the youth. It provides both for them the opportunity to learn things like proper healthcare, protecting themselves, and protecting their neighborhood. So, which is very, very important and valuable. At this time, this is very high priority for us to focus on this. This is the highest, all the speakers have already agreed on this, which is basically presented their experiences. I really appreciate their views on the sustainable development, humanity, and giving the more importance to this thing. When I was presenting my paper on the sustainable rural development in United Nations, Geneva, I particularly personally presented on the Gandhiji's vision and what we have been doing in the ground level. So that's what actually I want to see that happen in a large scale by making the youth as a platform, and the youth can get a sustainable future, and at the same time, and the environment can be saved, health can be saved. All this can be integrated very well. It's not our priority to calculate our economy in terms of the GDP, but in terms of the humanity and the health and the overall well-being. So that's what actually we're trying to focus on and change the mentality of the people. Yes, this is important time to save yourself and save all the people around. That's our duty. As a duty, we're trying to educate, but at the moment, the situation in different villages and different places, youth is really not taking responsibility. Now it is our duty to bring this initiative and take the youth task force in the front line so that they can protect the front layer and also help others. So especially the old people are really suffering. So seeing every day we are facing a lot of cases who are suffering in a helpless state. So for that, we need an army at the ground level, a force. So that's a youth task force we wanted to train. So ideas we came up with a 1 hour orientation session on the what is about how to deal with their protecting themselves from the COVID and the next is we wanted to make them trained on creating the employment through bringing this holistic healthcare through the preparation of the local medicine by themselves, like an immunity boosters, without buying from the outside. So that's the kind of thing which we need to create. Here we have created a number of plants, the medicinal plants, which we are making as immunity kits, including which is Gulichi, which is the Amrutpalli, and lemongrass, and a number of medicinal plants we are taking, and important medicines we are mixing together and making it a herbal tea, and that's really working out well. So I want to take this initiative, train the people to make their immunity boosters in the Ayurveda and stuff, because people do not have actually afford the expensive medicines from outside, and that's why we need a proper healthcare, the holistic healthcare by through these kind of trainings, so that in turn they can train other people. So far, we have trained frontline workers like ASHA workers and ANMs and all the frontline workers on the and even police on the holistic healthcare, how to take care of themselves, and they have really see the difference because they deal with the medicine, but here they have learned new things, including the yoga, immunity boosters like Ayurveda, simple techniques, and the food. The change of the food, the immunity foods. So this is very, very important to change the lifestyles of the people, but by giving the proper training. We also organized a 1 month training for some of the youth volunteers in different villages. But that is really working very well. So that's why I propose the first phase, of course, giving them the orientation 1 hour, and second phase, giving them train them on the how to take care of themselves properly, and then create employment for them, and so that they can be self-reliant. At the same time, they can protect their society, their community. So that's what actually the Manavata, the Vishwamanata Sanstha, which is actually officially supporting police and AP and Telangana police as well. So we've been organizing district-wise training sessions for the police as well. So that experience, sorry, the outside noise. But the police force is really facing a lot of problems. So now it is.
Yeah, we can wrap up, sir. You can wrap up quickly. So it's getting late. Please wrap up. Thank you. Srini, please wrap up.
So I wanted to give the similar kind of a training to the youth so that they can protect themselves and they can protect all. At the moment, we are giving two kind of a trainings. One is for the COVID patients to recover, and second one is for the people who can prevent from the COVID. So these two trainings, but of course these two are also important for youth. When we need to train them on how to prevent and how to recover. so with the natural way of life. So that is how we successfully could make number of cases cured with our online trainings morning and evenings. So that's every day last 4 months happening. So a number of people around the globe have learned these yogic breathing techniques and also healthy living. So that's what actually I've been promoting through my cycling. Living healthy, happy, and harmonious world is our vision, which is basically the other speakers mentioned about Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. So, of course, this is a great opportunity for me to speak on this great forum. You're doing a great work on bringing these ideas together and to save our country and this world. And thank you very much, Dr. Hari Garu, Dr. Srinivas Garu, and other dignitaries on the forum. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So you can also see our website about these programs, the statistics about how we are done, which is basically Youth Task Force is basically created for COVID control, relief, and recovery. CCRR. So that's why we wanted to make in a large scale so that we can protect our country. So yeah, that's what I request everyone to take as a primary priority, and then that will give the long-term vision.
Thank you very much,
Abdul Kalam
Garu.
really suggested us for the development, the true development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Srinivas, for coming in a late night from wherever you are. Appreciate it. We'll work with you in training the youth and also deploying them all over the country. We are receiving a lot of sign-ups for the volunteers. Our concluding remarks will be by Professor Srinivas Kumar now. MCs, please introduce Professor Srinivas Kumar now. MCs.
Okay. Dr. Srinivas Kumar is a faculty member of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur since 1987. Currently, he is a Vice Chancellor at JNTU University, Anantapur. He has delivered more than 85 visiting lectures at reputed teaching institutes and has 69 research publications in national and international journals. He has supervised 14 PhD theses in the area of image processing and antennas, and is contributing to the development of JNTU Anantapur on the academics, infrastructure, and research front. Now let's have a warm welcome for Professor S. Srinivas Kumar to deliver the concluding remarks for today's global webinar on the impact of COVID-19 on the development of rural economy challenges and opportunities.
My apologies, Sir Srinivas Kumar Garu. I missed introducing Jagan. Please be there for a few minutes. So MCs, please introduce our next keynote speaker, Jagan Chittiprolu, please. That's my apologies, sir.
That is what I would like to remind you, sir. Jagan Chittiprolu is there. So first, let us complete Jagan Chittiprolu.
Exactly, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry.
And I request Jagan Chittiprolu to excuse us.
Yes. Go ahead. Jagan, sorry. Please go ahead.
Our next guest speaker is Mr. Jagan Chittiprolu, who is the CEO of C2S Technologies Incorporated and founder of Naviz Analytics. Mr. Chittiprolu is an alumnus of Harvard Business School in the Senior Executive Leadership Program and has attained a master's degree in mathematics from Osmania University. He's a serial entrepreneur and software executive with over 21 years of experience in the software industry. He built C2S Technologies from scratch and then Naviz Analytics, a data and IoT company in India. In India, he launched an agri-tech company called Samhita.ag to help Indian farmers increase profitability by using sustainable methodologies. Let's welcome Mr. Chittiprolu to deliver his keynote address on improving rural agriculture using IoT technology.
So thank you very much. And so first of all, thank you very much, Lead India Foundation, Foundation Chairman, Dr. Hari Ipanapalli. And second, so Professor Dr. Srinivas Kumar, JNTU Anantapur Vice Chancellor. Congo Queen, DMB, and distinguished guests around the globe. And today, I wanted to talk about some of the case studies that we have been doing it, and especially in India. And I wanted to connect some of my experiences, and at the same time, I want to connect some of the solutions that we have been building both United States and in India. So first of all, I'm a technologist and I run a data company, and I've been building solutions for several customers especially in United States. And some of the customers are into the agribusiness as well. And these agribusiness customers grow predominantly grapes from Napa Valley and Western Washington from United States. And as part of these implementations, we have been helping them to build some software solutions and hardware solutions. And what we have been doing with them is that we build sensor equipments, and we collect the drones data, we collect the imagery data, and we stitch together and provide the software platforms to these agri growers. And some of them are viticulturists, some of them are plant experts, some of them are agronomists. And we have been working with them since the last several years. And they use our platforms, and they make sure that they maintain the orchard health and farm operations. And their objective is to bring the yield, and also making sure that their plants are very healthy. So that's their core objective. And apart from that, the scale that they operate at, those growers usually have right around from 1,000 acres to 2,000 acres and 3,000 acres. So since the technology is a key enabler for them to be successful, and this journey, so when I go back, I want to connect back the childhood journey, so that you will see in terms of what kind of experience that I came from. And back in India, I was born and brought up in a small village. And my childhood, I grew along the side of farmers. And in fact, my grandfather used to be a farmer as well. And so I did see both spectrums from well-developed nations, how they're farming. And also I did see that how the farming has been done in India by not having any technologies. And so I did see the two different spectrums, both sides. And so I was in a constant quest to how do I take these technologies and solutions back to emerging markets such as India or Africa. And as part of that, in fact, we have a facility back in one of the facility in Rwanda as well. Since the Congo Queen Diambe is there, I wanted to mention that one of our center is also in Rwanda in Africa. And in fact, so basically, like this idea came, and I went to India several times and met several scientists and plant experts and agronomists back in India. And I've told them that how can we take this technology back to India? And based on that research, we figured it out that the fundamental problems in India farmers are facing is two fundamental problems they are facing. One is they are unable to increase their yield, and the second one is that they are unable to maintain the plant health. So we further deep dived into it and understand what are the major reasons are happening to this kind of issues, why the farmers are facing. And in our research, interestingly, one of the interesting topic is that India has before 1965, India used to do lots of organic farming, but right after 1965, India started using, because of this green revolution, India started using lots of fertilizers and pesticides, and because of that, the farmers are doubling their yield. But apparently the green revolution was very helpful in the seasonal crops such as rice, paddy, But whereas it has become a very big disaster to perennial crops such as grapes, bananas, and all sort of fruits. So because of the green revolution, because the farmers
Because
are
of that,
lots of
farmers are getting doubling their yield. But apparently, the green revolution was very helpful in the seasonal crops such as the rice, paddy.
Harigaru, there is a background disturbance is coming up. Hope Harigaru, I'm able to hope I'm able to audible now. Thank you. So so basically, because of this green revolution, there are lots of fertility being used, so that is directly impacting to the soil imbalance, so that soil is losing the nutrients, and also it cannot be reversible. So basically, once it is damage is happened, it cannot be reversed back. That's a fundamental issue. And another issue is also the farmers are facing is that crop mortality. So crop mortality is another issue where after the 8th year of their crops, and we have been observing that the 50% of the crops have been started increasing their mortality, and after 12th year, most of them, like 80% of the crop is completely getting damaged. So this is one of the biggest issue that Indian farmers are facing, and also technically the farmers were not aware of this, actually, in fact. And the second issue to be discussed is that one of the other issues is that the water salinity, because too much salt in the water, that is directly impacting to the plant health, and also it can also imbalance the NPK factors in the plant. And the third area is another area that I want to discuss is that the plant disease. So because the farmers are not equipped with the right technologies, and they are unable to predict or are unable to see the upcoming diseases. Some of the diseases, for example, insects sitting on the leaves, where human eye cannot be able to detect them initial stage, and by the time they noticed it, they cannot be able to reverse it back. So these are the fundamental issues. Along with there are also some of the other issues such as uh, uh, like my microclimate conditions, and another thing is that they are unable to bring the producer to the right market, so they are not getting the right pricing for their producers. So there are many variants that farmers are facing these kind of issues. Now, when it comes to when the question comes whether the India, especially the 82% of the Indian farmers are small and marginal farmers. So the very fundamental question comes to us is that whether they can be able to afford these kind of technologies, such as because our technologies involved both telemetries, sensors, spatial data, and drones is involved. And when it comes to the small and marginal farmers, can they be able to afford it? But our research has found out that they are okay to pay the advisory cost to the farm benefits. So we took that as a benchmarking price, and we did a further research that how can we solve this fundamental problem to help the farmers in India. And that is where our team had advised us that let us build a massive infrastructure in India, where the massive infrastructure could be in the form of software systems, and the massive infrastructure could be the hardware infrastructure, where we can be able to produce the hardware sensors and telemetries in one roof, so that we are not going to be depending on the third party vendors. So that way we can significantly reduce the cost, and also we can be able to build a shared talent in terms of both plant experts and technical advisors and field technicians. Basically, we built this whole model in the form of hub and spoke model. And with this model, we are actually right now in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. We are actually deployed already, and we have been serving the farmers in 4 districts in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And Nalgonda is one among them, and second is Mahabubnagar, Anantapur, as well as the Kadapa. So these are the 4 districts we have deployed it, all our team. There are around 50 people team are working on the field, and the technology team, Hyderabad, is also working behind the scene to help these rural farming areas, farmers. And apart from that, the farmer, one of the core objective for us is that we wanted to make sure that the farmer should not spend any cost in terms of the capex. So we made sure that the farmer should only be paying the service to us in the form of OPEX based. And with this model, it is going very effectively, and farmers are getting benefited, and we are in the outcome of delivering the. So basically, we are delivering the plant health and increase in the yield. And because our systems are capturing huge amount of data from the field, and with this kind of commitment that we have the great hope that we can take this agri farming to the next leap for the future generations, as well as. So our promise is that we are uplifting rural economy directly by helping the farmers. And the second thing is that we are creating an employment at rural part of the countries. And also, I wanted to thank Indian government who have taken the great initiatives to deploy the networks such as 3G and 4G to the rural part of the country. Now, we are not seeing any major network issues. And also, the next immediate hope for us is that there is going to be 5G network is going to be coming. And we are very confident that the network issues are going to be completely removed. And with this promise, we wanted to help the rural farmers. That's our one of the mission and vision statement that we have been running on. And so with that note, I wanted to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of distinguished world speakers and many audience. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Jagan. You ended up delivering the valedictory keynote for us today. Sorry for keeping you wait, but it is worth it listening to you. And there are so many people waiting to listen to you already. I will connect them offline to you, and you can work with them to enlighten them with your technology and make their lives easy to increase the productivity. Now, with no further delay, I would like to invite our co-host, Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNTU, Anantapur, Professor S. Srinivas Kumar. So he's done a wonderful job, sir. You've been extremely patient working with me for the last several weeks to make this happen. And now it's your show. Please enlighten us with your remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Hari Panapalli, sir, Lead India Foundation Chairman. Indeed, the success is because of you. You have driven the team and we have worked. Indeed, we are very happy and comfortable, and heartfully we thank for your work. And Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University is able to get a good image in the public because of the conference which we are having today. And indeed, today I take it as a privilege to propose few points. And today the COVID-19, so this kind of pandemic situations are coming because of the population density. If we consider the Bombay, Delhi, Madras, in this kind of regions, we find more COVID-19 patients than the rural areas. The reason which I understood is because of the centralization. Most of the institutions and industries are in the urban areas, not in the rural areas. So thereby, from my personal point of view, I would like to present that there should be a decentralization. The rural sector should be given equal importance, and the economy can be developed by the decentralization policy. And today we're having excellent speakers, and Honorable Governor message has been read by me. Indeed, I consider honor to read the message of the Honorable Governor. Today, though he is absent, he has sent his message, and he has emphasized for the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, through which we are strengthening the rural economy. And further, he has mentioned what are the measures that have been taken by the government of India to help the rural sector, and he asked to have a good deliberations and give the good points that can be followed by the government of India. Indeed, we are thankful for the wonderful message that has been sent by Honorable Governor Sri Bishwabhushan Harichandan. And Sadhuji, really, sir, harmony in self, harmony in the society, harmony in the family, harmony with the nature. This is what is required. Sadhuji has rightly said the harmony is the vehicle to revive and develop the economy. And harmony can be built by two means. One is by internal thoughts and the emotions, and externally by works and contributions. Sir, your presence is indeed very happy and thankful to you for your presence. And Dr. Satish Reddy, and who is the distinguished alumnus of Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur, presently the chairman of Defense DRDO. He has wonderfully presented about the moments and he recollected the moments with Dr. Abdul Kalam, and dream that only results high quality works. And further, he has emphasized for the Make in India policy what the government is doing. And earlier, we used to have PPE kits around 47,000 per year, but now we are having 6 lakhs per day. We are able to produce because of the Make in India policy. And development is exponential in the pandemic situation, and industry should flourish and support to develop the nation, and in particular the economy. And Professor Hemchandra Reddy, AP State Council of Higher Education, he is the chairman, and he has recollected the memories and cherished the moments, and he has presented about the connectivity, physical connectivity, knowledge connectivity, and information connectivity. And he is particular about the ICT connectivity to the rural areas, and there should be a need for the blended learning, that is both online learning as well as the campus learning. Both must be there, then only the student can flourish, and the education sector can be strengthened by having a blended learning model. And further, he has emphasized for the infrastructure for the village, technology for the village, knowledge for the village, and thereby the village can be, the rural area can be strengthened. And Queen Diambi, he has expressed her views on need-based economy or a profit-based economy. And further, he has also mentioned about the resource managed economy, and indeed the presence of Queen Diambi has brought the glory to the occasion. And further, the values that is Dr. Sahasrabuddhe, Anil Sahasrabuddhe, chairman of All India Council for Technical Education, has indeed expressed his views about the Sarve Janas Sukhuno Bhavantu, and he has mentioned that modern technology for water, modern technology for food, and fertilizers for the agriculture and the transport should be emphasized, and collaborate and cooperate. Then only the development can take place. That there should be good collaboration between the developed countries and developing countries. Then we can have a good development. And Vasudhaika Kutumbam, he has mentioned, that is a good word which I like. And indeed, I am very happy for his presence. Though he is very busy, indeed he has come, and he has promised that he will be joining us. He has joined us, and thank you very much to Professor Sahasrabuddhe. And further, he has mentioned lifelong learner, and he has mentioned about the need for the induction program. Sir, thank you very much, Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe, for being with us. And KSMS Ragarao Garu, Director CFTRI, he has mentioned that 33% of the exports is from the food industry. And thereby, he says that the food industry and the farmers, they should be integrated. The technology and the agriculture, both must be integrated. Definitely, then the farmers can be empowered and they can contribute more for the GDP. Presently, the GDP is hardly 17% from the rural sector. Though 70% of the population is staying in the rural areas, they are contributing only 17% of the GDP. Thereby, the Professor KSMS Ragarao Garu words are well taken. Thank you, Professor KSMS Ragarao Garu, Director CFTRI. And Professor Manoranjan Gupta, she has discussed various problems, and she has emphasized about Atmanirbhar Bharat. And indeed, we are very happy for her wonderful presence. And she has emphasized about the transport problems, e-commerce in the agricultural products, and there is a need for not for smart cities. There is a need for smart villages. They should be emphasized. And Manoranjan Gupta, madam, we are very happy for your presence, and we need the cooperation for the development of the society, and indeed for the Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University to develop further in future. And Dr. Pramit, excellent speaker, and he has spoken about the self-reliant villages. The almost what Manoranjan Gupta has said and what Dr. Pramit has said, both are almost same, it appears, and their ideas are same. And what she has said, Manoranjan Gupta has said about smart villages, and what Dr. Pramit has said is about the self-reliant villages. Indeed, clustering of the villages, transforming the nation by transforming the villages, he has emphasized. And the skill development, Atmanirbhar Bharat, these two are to be are emphasized by Dr. Pramit, and these two are covered even by Dr. Manoranjan Gupta also. Indeed, Mr. Pranit has done an excellent job. We are very happy for his presence. Thank you very much, sir. And he has also mentioned about the global priorities are to be considered for the agriculture products, not the local priorities. The global priorities are to be considered for the agriculture products. Then only the villages can be further developed. Educate, engage, and empower the rural people. These are the words from the Dr. Pramit. Uddhav Bhareli is an inventor. He has got more than 140 inventions. He is a great philanthropist, and he has mentioned innovation gets momentum from the slow growth. And definitely the COVID-19 has given him an opportunity to develop much more inventions which are useful to the society. And he has mentioned about the products, about the post-harvesting as well as the pre-harvesting which are required. Innovation should be need-based. And Professor Ravi Ayangari, he has mentioned about the digital technology, social media platforms, and education health sector that are to be strengthened in the rural areas. And online education, virtual laboratories are to be considered in developing the rural areas. And learn and earn, this is what he has proposed. And Srinivas Alluri, he has discussed about the naturopathy, healthcare aspects like yoga, naturopathy, that are to be considered to avoid this kind of pandemic situation. Jagan Chittiprolu, earlier we used to think about the organic farming. Later, we are thinking about the pesticides and the fertilizers to increase the productivity. Now there is a need to emphasize again for the green revolution. And he discussed about the crop mortality, water salinity, plant diseases, right pricing for the agriculture products. And further, he has mentioned how the telemetry, drones, sensors, how the Internet of Things, indirectly he has mentioned about the Internet of Things, how the technology can be used for the rural sector to improve the quality of the products as well as to reduce the capital that is to be invested by the farmer. Indeed, we consider a very happy occasion, and Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur in particular, is very, myself, we are very happy to associate with the Lead India Foundation and all the deliberations which you have till date, whether for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we are having excellent deliberation with Hariji as well as Raviji, and we would like to take all your information and produce in the form of a booklet and see that this particular information will be given to the government after discussing with other people also, and we will discuss with Hari Ippanapalli in detail. I am very happy indeed. Thank you very much.
Sir, wonderful, sir. Appreciate it. You summarized it so well. I could not have done this job. I'm very grateful to you, sir. You quietly sitting, but you making all these notes. It's amazing thing you did. So now it's there is a big person that big fan of Dr. Kalam, and also worked with Dr. Kalam. I would like to introduce Dr. Hari Krishna Maram, who was a speaker on the higher education panel as well, and he worked with Kalam on several education related initiatives, and is quietly waiting for the last 3+ hours on this call. And he's the founder of several organizations, but the Vision Digital India is the brand that he's promoting, working with the Modi government. And there's so many other things. He's the part of this, all the private education institutions, and he does a lot of charitable work. And he recently completed 13 years of his own College, that in Bangalore. So I would like to, with no further delay, because it's getting late, there's a big introduction that I have to read for him, but he's a well-known figure. I would like to request Dr. Hari Krishna Maram formally pay tributes to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his 5th anniversary. Sir, you are.
Thank you, Dr. Hari, for bringing me here. And I would like to congratulate Lead India Foundation, as well as the JNTU headed by the Honorable Vice Chancellor, for bringing a wonderful speaker here. And I'm really fortunate to share my experiences with the most popular president of India, the missile man, the Bharata Ratna, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I had an opportunity to interact 3 times with him, not for a very lengthy period, very short duration. And as you rightly told, sir, Dr. Hari, in fact, the reason of leaving my wonderful job in a multinational company and moving towards education, the inspiration is none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And exactly 13 years back, when he completed his term as the 11th President of India on July 25th, 2007, I started my company also, my organization, towards developing, providing skills to all. So that's how this Vision Digital India journey started, taking inspiration from none other than our most popular missile man, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And we are working on that mission. And every day we remember the kind of teachings, learnings, what he given to all of us. And every word of his is an inspiration to us to move towards giving skills to people, giving knowledge to the people. So in this direction, we are working. And definitely it is my privilege to be part of this webinar today, to share these few experiences. It's already, I think, late. Thank you for the opportunity, and I wishing all the best for the future endeavors. And we at Vision Digital India always there to take forward Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam mission, vision, and his plans, working along with Lead India Foundation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Maram. It's wonderful to see you again. And it's a real tribute to Dr. Kalam, having worked with him and starting the Imperial College on the July 25th, 2007. That's the reason I wanted you to be the formal speaker to pay tributes to Dr. Kalam, and appreciate you waiting for here. So I'll make a few more minutes to wrap up this conference. It's already late, but COVID-19 pandemic has really impacted the global economy, healthcare, education, energy, employment, due to restricted mobility, especially the rural India, the rural world that's really affected. This created an opportunity and undeniable challenge, like reduced productivity, increased unemployment, and reduced liquidity in the marketplace. This pandemic has made devastating impacts on the global rural economy. It has affected the lives of the farmers, the weavers, the masons, so and so forth, like roti, kapda or makan. All these people are really affected. So many daily wage earners alike. In order to help revive the rural economy, it is important that we prioritize public health, education, encourage the development of both small and medium scale businesses, connect the newly unemployed with the talent seeking industries, and eventually restore the lives of all who were affected severely by the COVID-19. Especially on the healthcare side in the rural India, there are about 50,000 new COVID cases every day approximately. More than 10 million of India's suddenly jobless migrant workers are moving from cities back to their home villages, which has exacerbated the pandemic. 70% of the Indian population live in rural areas, but these villages often lack proper health facilities, making it harder to combat the virus. In Europe, medical training has been greatly affected by the loss of surgical exposure and logbook development. In the US, primary care practitioners are reporting reductions in the use of healthcare services for up to 70%, and salaries of clinical staff have been frozen or reduced, and some staff have been furloughed. In India, labor and equipment have been limited, especially in the agriculture sector, and is very expensive. Restrictions on transportation and limitations on harvesting resulted in rotting and decaying of food. It's very sad to see this. 71 million tons of wheat and rice is overflowing. And in Italy, I'm just trying to do different parts of the continent world. In Italy, 57% of agriculture companies report lower sales, and 14% report absent employees and canceled trade fairs. The European Commission increased flexibility of the Rural Development Fund to help support rural businesses. In the US, many foods, especially milk, are going to waste. The poultry market is susceptible to the drop in commodity pricing and shortage of farm labor. Over 10 million food services jobs are at risk. In India, there is a decreased number of construction imports from China, increase in real estate costs, and decrease in profit margins for real estate developers. This really deprived people of this masonry kind of people, deprived their employment. In China, the return of economic mortality is slowing down, with retail and hospitality sector footfall down as much as 90%. In Italy, 20,000 property sales were cancelled. It will take up to 3 years to recover, rocking up a total of euro 122 billion in losses. Disbursements of mortgages fell by 15 to 30%. In Western Europe, economists expect take up to decline 30 to 35% in the office market, 25% increase in corporate insolvencies worldwide, and 18% in Western Europe. In the US, real estate service providers are struggling to mitigate health risks their employees and customers. Many American real estate developers are not to be permits and are facing construction delays, stoppages, and potentially shrinking rates of return. Many asset owners and operators are facing drastically reduced operating income, and tenants are users payments. And where are the opportunities? We have so many problems trickle down, but we need to convert these adversities into opportunities. India is the hub of the talent of the world, and we need to innovate. We need to use the technology to the fullest and encourage the growth of cottage industries and small and medium-sized businesses, using online learning tools to upskill and reskill low-skilled workers to prepare them for the Industry 4.0 employment opportunities. As our good friend Jagan has shared, implementing agri-tech solutions to drive resilience in agriculture value chains is very much needed now. So this provides an opportunity for this webinar to share our insights, findings, and recommendations to various government and businesses across the world, conceive and implement policies to offer affordable quality healthcare to rural areas, affordable quality education to all, and also preserve and protect this planet for future generations, as Dr. Kalam's mission was, and also bring peace and harmony into the society. More families are now getting together than before. So that is an important aspect of a COVID epidemic, but there's so much of other damage has happened. Maximize the utilization of technology to boost the agriculture and small and medium scale industries to employ the marginalized labor who are stuck. And I request all the eminent speakers of this global webinar to join this task force to propose solutions so that the governments can act fast to deregulate and take steps to stimulate the economy. We will create a task force to draft this webinar proceedings and submit to various governments and relevant institutions to consider and implement their recommendations. So again, this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get together. And especially I would like to emphasize, we have about close to 25,000 people registered to receive certificates for this. And I'm just getting reports, over 5 million people watching this globally. So that means our reach has increased. Our registrations have started in single hundreds to 25,000 today. So in case any of you who registered today, all of you will receive a certificate, but we would like to have your involvement in saving, protecting yourself to start with, and also protect your friends and families, and also the neighborhoods. And the Manavata organization, which we partnered with, will train and also deploy all the immunity boosting kits as needed. And we'll train also to different parts of the country to prepare their own immunity boosting kits, standardized and packaged well, and distribute to the local people. So with this, I would like to thank every member who participated today, whether on the Zoom or online watching from YouTube, and all the speakers who came and took the pain of staying late. And we ran almost 1 hour and 18 minutes. Still, we have a lot of people on the call. So it is an exceptional and well-organized event, and a lot of speakers with so much of talent shared their wisdom and experience. And there are so many organizations are waiting and looking forward to your direction and your recommendations, so that they can earn their living respectfully without depending on the governments. The governments cannot provide continuous support, and we need to empower people and enable them to earn their living respectfully. That is what the mission of Dr. Kalam's Lead India Foundation. Especially, we would like to involve youth in this pandemic time to save themselves, because they can save others. Again, I would like to thank all of you for this wonderful opportunity to serve. And let's pay our humble respects to our People's President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who really inspired millions and millions of people around the globe. And he's a true legend, and legends never die. And we are celebrating his legacy, and we are committed to promote his vision and mission throughout the world for the youth. Our next Lead India event will be on August 15th, exclusively for the youth. And we are inviting a lot of people who reached their pinnacle, especially people like Purna Malawat, who climbed the Mount Everest at the age of 13 years and 8 months. Like that, we're identifying about 7 people from different continents to share their success story, to inspire many youth to, because youth are like deprived of various opportunities now. The schools are closed, colleges are closed, and the people who graduated are having difficult time to find jobs. We want to give them a hope, and we want to inspire them, encourage them, don't give up, and find a way to convert this adversity into an opportunity and make a world better to live and move on. I think there's so many other people who lived during the pandemics, and we will continue to survive, and we will make every effort to save as many lives as possible. Please join hands and let's promote Dr. Kalam's vision and mission, make him live forever on this planet. Thank you so much. And it's 1:21 p.m. in the Eastern time, and it's almost 11 p.m. in India. So I would like to again thank Dr. Professor S. Srinivas Kumar, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNTU. Sir, it's an honor and privilege to work with you, and I will continue to provide any service that you need. And especially on the induction program, we have a great training program. We will collaborate with you to transform your students into young leaders. And I would like them to come up not just with the resume when they graduate, but they should come with a business plan and all become entrepreneurs. And we will do whatever necessary to work with you, sir. And it's an honor and privilege. Again, may God bless you with good health, and we look forward to your leadership. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, we are very happy, and we will definitely collaborate in future for the development of the students, not university in particular, and in general, the society will be part of yours. Thank you.